Hello. So, I actually really want to touch on how stress impacts your results, your body composition, your weight loss, your strength, your recovery, like all that stuff. And I also want to touch a little bit on nutrition periodization, like dieting and reverse dieting and bringing your calories up, which is the first thing I'm going to touch on. So, let's just say someone started at 2200 calories as their maintenance, and then they dieted down to get pretty damn lean, and they got themselves down to 1300 calories. Now, in doing this, I'm guessing they would have lost weight as well. So they are a smaller person. The metabolism would have adapted downwards, and their NEAT, their energy performance, all that stuff would have got its way down as well. So being less of a person to maintain, let's say their maintenance has now dropped from 2200 to about 1800. If they're on 1300 currently, it's kind of silly and stupid to increase your calories by like 100 or 150 every like 2 weeks, because going from 150 to going from 1300 to 1400 to 1500 to 1600 to 1700 to 1800 over the period of like 3-4 months is 3-4 months you are still in a deficit. 3-4 months you are still not giving your body the nutrients it needs, the building blocks it needs to actually build muscle, get strong, and get healthy. You're still in a deficit, and you're still giving yourself the same signals to not build, to not recover, to not repair. And it's not only detrimental to your health and your performance, but to your long-term results, because the time that you're spending in a deficit is the time you're not spending working on other markers like actually building a stronger body and building your metabolism up, which isn't it everyone's goal to eat more food and not gain weight? I mean, food is freaking amazing. So that's my stance on that. Now, when it comes to stress, we can go so many different avenues in this way, because dieting is a stress in itself. Like, the longer you diet for, the longer you're going to need to come out of it. So people that do like a 12-week cut down or a 12-week slim down before they build them weight, I'm hoping that they have an after plan. But they've only spent 12 weeks in it. And if in that 12 weeks it was such a rapid cut that their metabolism went all the way, that their metabolism downregulated, and the other I'm so big on biofeedback, so I'm going to be saying the word biofeedback a lot. But their biofeedback markers went all the way down, their gym performance started to suffer, all of that stuff, but it was only for 12 weeks. It's not going to take that long to get them back out of that. But say that you've spent a long period of your life dieting, and your hormone levels are tanked, your libido's tanked, your sleep is tanked, and it's been like a year, 2 years, and then there are the people, like, think of the people that compete season after season on stage. That is prolonged dieting, because in between each season there is not enough time to then pull you out. So you do not see it as, oh, I dieted for 20 weeks there, and then I dieted for 12 weeks there, or 16 weeks there, and then just say, okay, so 20 plus 16, I think they're the numbers I said, put them together, I only dieted for 36 weeks, it's only going to take me 36 weeks to get out. No. If that was a whole year, or a whole 2 years of you chronically doing that, it's going to take you that long to be able to get out and get your body up to really healthy levels, so that you're actually building your functional capacity to metabolize, to digest, to get your period again if you haven't got it yet, to get your hormones regulated. Like, the most anabolic thing you can do for yourself that is actually natural and free is sleep. sleep, and eating mostly whole foods. They are the most anabolic things that you can do for yourself. Minimally processed foods, sleep. And people are too worried about how many times they should eat protein in a day, how many grams your body can actually absorb of protein. Just sleep. Just get your stress levels down. Eat minimally processed foods. And by minimally processed, I mean ultra processed. Like Kentucky Fried Chicken. But still, that is probably the best way to start normalizing your body to the stresses you are putting on it by sleeping. Because sleep is such a vital aid in recovery. Keep that in mind. Now, if you think about stress on the body, people think of cortisol. Now, cortisol is good in the short term because that's when when you're training, for example, your cortisol levels go up. That is damaging the muscle, which is a form of metabolism, for then getting it to heal, because as soon as you eat, insulin spikes because protein and carbs spike insulin. Now, insulin is like the antagonist to cortisol, and insulin is a messenger hormone. So it's not a storage hormone, it's a messenger hormone. And after you exercise, after you eat your protein or carbs, what happens is the insulin signals your body to then shuttle those nutrients to where they need to go. In this case, it's gonna be your muscle and everything else that needs protein and carbs, like your brain and your heart. But the muscle is gonna get it too. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Because think of insulin, think of cortisol. When you're stressed out chronically, cortisol stays elevated chronically. Now, cortisol is an antagonist not only to insulin, but to your sex hormones. Because the mother hormone of all of this is something called pregnenolone. And that creates the insulin, that creates the cortisol, the testosterone, the estrogen, the progesterone. Now, if cortisol is highly produced here, it's gonna send negative feedback. No, stop producing stuff. Stop producing pregnenolone. So then there's gonna be none of these sex hormones. None of these. Unless it's in very tiny amounts. Now, if your testosterone levels go down, let's say you're fatigued, you're tired, you can't recover, your strength's going down, your performance is going down, your mood is erratic, your progesterone and estrogen go down if you're a female in particular, you start losing your period, you start losing your libido, you start feeling very, very moody, probably hot flushes. It's a catastrophe, because then think about what happens if you then realize that cortisol not only plays a role, the whole sex hormone cortisol thing here, but then there's the thyroid hormone. And all of this negative feedback is going to impact and send negative feedback to the thyroid. And the thyroid is going to stop producing. So, now, if you think about, there's the brain. Now, I'm sure you all heard of your hypothalamus. Your hypothalamus sends out signals to your adrenal cortex. You know your adrenals, they release the adrenaline and the noradrenaline, you know, the whole fight or flight stuff. If you don't, you know now. The adrenals release not only the whole fight and flight crap, but your adrenals then produce the pregnenolone, which I then said produces your sex hormones, and it also produces cortisol. So if your cortisol levels are really, really high and it's giving that negative feedback loop up the chain, the hypothalamus not only sends messages to the adrenal gland, but like I said, it also sends messages to the thyroid to produce the thyroid hormones. So if you just think about it in the whole scheme of things, this massive production of cortisol is going to impact your thyroid, it's going to impact your sex hormones, which then impacts your strength, your recovery, all of that other stuff. Is going to make you perform less. So your energy expenditure is going to be going down. All of your metabolic functions are going to be going down. Your ability to digest foods is going to be going down. Metabolism also has to do with repairing muscle. Your recovery is going to be going down. You're going to find that you probably will still be sore like the third week on a program, when you should be pretty much adapted by the second week to extreme soreness anyway. And it shouldn't be lasting for like weeks long. So if you think about all of this certain sort of stuff that can impact how much energy you expend, there is still the factor that the food is coming in. So if you're still eating the same amount of food but expending less, your weight. And then if you think about the psychological aspects of cortisol as well, that could still be triggering you to eat. So then your weight. Anyway, I've been talking for long enough. I wanted to keep this under 10 minutes. I'm on 11, so see ya.